The track for Tropical Cyclone Alfred is still expected to approach the Bay Islands after midnight Friday and into the early hours of Saturday. Then move across Moreton Bay during Saturday morning and to the north of the Brisbane CBD. It's important to note that the exact track is still uncertain, that destructive wind gusts up to 150 kilometres per hour are possible about the exposed island coasts and coastal locations near and to the south of the system. So that extends down through Moreton, Stradbroke and those Gold Coast, exposed coasts of the Gold Coast. And that is particularly as the system approaches the coast. Now, as the cyclone moves across Moreton Bay Islands, it is expected to weaken from a Category 2 to a Category 1 system. This will mean that destructive winds are unlikely for Brisbane itself, but damaging wind gusts to 120 kilometres per hour are expected, and they will develop quickly as the system approaches. So we have seen extreme wave heights observed across the Queensland, southeast Queensland coast, and as the Premier mentioned, observations of over 10 metres. We expect these conditions to continue as the system approaches, and we have seen extreme coastal erosion and inundation of some areas. The storm tide risk remains, however, there is a reduced risk of the higher possible values. I spoke yesterday of the potential to see values over a metre above the normal highest astronomical tide. Our current modelling suggests that with the high tides we may see values of up to a half a metre above that highest normal tide, increasing to about 0.7 of a metre possible around the southern Moreton Bay and Redlands area. So Tropical Cyclone Alfred is expected to produce that heavy to intense rainfall with widespread daily totals of 300 to 500 millimetres, and again particularly around the southern flank of the system and the elevated terrain as it interacts with the cyclone moving across. That means we may see 800 millimetre totals for this event as it stretches through the next 48 hours or so. In terms of the flooding, those rainfall amounts we're seeing will be the major concern as we move forward. The flash flooding due to those intense rainfall, as well as widespread minor to major riverine flooding. Flood watches remain in place for the Mary River, the creeks and rivers of the Sunshine Coast, the Pine and Caboolture rivers, the Gold Coast rivers and creeks, the upper and lower Brisbane river catchments, the Condamine, McIntyre and now also the Weir River. A major flood warning has been issued for the Logan and Albert rivers, and we are expecting moderate to major flooding possible from later today, and we're already starting to see rises on some of the gauges around Bow Desert.